والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in salutations on our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. My beloved brothers and sisters, respected mothers and fathers, our viewers and listeners, in our fiqh this evening we are still in Kitab al-Tahara, the chapter on cleanliness, and we are looking at the obligatory acts of wudu, of the ritual ablution. And this is a wonderful opportunity to just refresh our memories, even if we have been performing wudu for many years. It's very good just to remind ourselves of the fiqh, and for those who are new to it, a lovely opportunity for you as well, inshallah. And I start off by mentioning a very beautiful hadith of our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he says to us in the Sahih al-Bukhari, "Inna ummati yud'auna yawm al-qiyamah ghurran muhajjalin min athar al-wudu. Faman istata'a minkum an yutil ghurratahu falyaf'al." Our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that on the day of Qiyamah, resurrection, those of his ummah will be noticed by how beautiful and how radiant their faces will be. The members of the ummah of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he refers to those members as ghurran muhajjalin, that they are, handsome and beautiful, and muhajjalin, that they are radiant, shining. You notice them on the day of Qiyamah. And they are those, and that radiance will come from the effects of having taken wudu in the dunya. That there's a special nur, a special light for the members of the ummah of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who really took time to perform their wudu. So inshallah we look at wudu this evening. Just a few points before I get into it. Wudu is a very important act because it's a prerequisite for other acts of worship. So you have to be clear on wudu because you need it for other acts of worship. Wudu must be done with perfection. It is not something that can be a half measure. You have to be sure that you have performed your wudu correctly. And then there are many ahadith, other than wudu being compulsory in certain instances. Our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam also mentions the special rewards for the person who takes his or her time when it comes to wudu. And then the fourth point I added, saying that we must also be careful that we don't become complacent in the performance of wudu. That when you take wudu, as they would previously refer to it, abdas, when you take it frequently, your mind just adjusts to doing something. And if you get used to a mistake, let's say you are accustomed, you are wiping your arms, but because you do it so much, you don't actually pay attention to how far you are wiping, and your body becomes accustomed to that. Actually, what would be a good test is if you recorded yourself performing wudu, just to see what do you do after many years of performing it. So do not become too complacent, and then also when you perform your wudu, there should not be the wastage of water. So what does the Shaykh write? He writes, and this is what we're looking at this evening, the furudul wudu, those actions which are fard, compulsory in the wudu, are 6. You cannot have a wudu without these 6 acts having been done. You need a niyyah. Now that's already point 1. I even ask myself, did we intend for the wudu? That's a very important question, right? You need a niyyah, and then you have to wash the face, washing both hands and arms, including the elbows, wiping any part of the head, washing the feet, including the ankles. In the Shafi'i madhab, we also have tartib, that it must be done in this particular order. And just to touch on some of these, when it comes to intention, the recommendation is that the niyyah is made aloud, that you articulate it, or at least your lips move. with intention. The madhahib agree on the fact that your intention must be in your mind. You must know that you're performing wudu. And with that intention, you need to know why you're performing your wudu. Because wudu can have one of two intentions. Either you are removing a minor impurity. So let's say you want to take a sunnah wudu before you sleep. You don't need it. It's not compulsory. So you are removing like a minor hadath impurity. You're entering into the state of cleanliness via the wudu. Then your intention would be for that. Or if you are performing your wudu for salah, that must be in your niyyah. That I'm taking this wudu for a fard salah. Because remember, the wudu is a prerequisite for the fard salah. Your salah cannot be performed without the state of wudu. You need to be in that. And so we are very meticulous in the fiqh. And it's actually very beautiful to reflect on how Allah needs us to be really conscious and aware of what we are doing. It's not just going into ibadah, whoops, pops, without thinking through what we need to do. Allah needs us, okay, my brother, my slave, think through your wudu before you even approach the salah. Think through that. And then, when we wash the entire face, where do we begin? Where do we end with the face? So the fiqh indicates that you begin from the point of where your hairline starts, or where it used to start, also for many of us. Where the hairline starts or used to start, right? That is where it goes until the end of the chin. The entire chin, its full length, that is the entire face, and from the ear to the ear. So common mistakes that people make with wudu is they rub from, if I demonstrate it, they rub here. Because we get so used to it, complacency. So we just rub the face. We don't actually consider where's the hairline. And we also don't consider where it ends underneath our chin. The end, the complete chin. And then from ear to ear. So a good thing also to check with your next wudu, inshallah. After you've completed it, just check if this area is moist. Very good check. Because when we rush through the act, it's a requirement that it must be from ear to ear. So when we wipe here, we miss the sides of our face completely, which would then make the fard here incomplete. And therefore we must perfect it. Then both hands and arms, including the elbows. A common mistake here is that the elbows get are excluded. So it's not, the fuqaha debated a little bit, but there's consensus that you must go beyond, that includes the elbow. So again, when you are done with wudu, it's a good thing, even the asatira, they do this in the madaris, in the maktabs. When a child takes wudu, we check, is the elbow wet? Is there evidence that you actually went past? And if you find sometimes the skin close to the elbow dries generally, and you again check, inshallah, if you've completed that. Wiping any part of the head. And here, people sometimes, I've seen when some people take wudu, they pull out the single strand of hair or the 3 strands. Now we don't do fiqh on bare minimum. Okay, we practice upon the bare minimum. Yes, one opinion within the Shafi'i madhab is a single strand of hair. Now, I mean, it takes more time to find the single strand of hair than actually wiping, and the recommendation is a third of the head should be wiped. Different opinions. One opinion is from the front backwards. Another opinion is from the crown of your head to the front. Another opinion is from the front to the back and back to the front when you wipe. It isn't a requirement for the full head. There are points that they speak about that you should not wipe your fringe downwards. That is not what is encouraged in wudu, males and females. For males who have long hair and females, it is recommended that they wipe as much of the length of their hair as possible because of the length of the hair. And then, of course, the feet, including the ankles, check again that it includes the ankles, it's not below, that it actually goes against some dry skin we can use to check. And then lastly, the tartib, it must be in this order, inshallah. So we conclude this evening that the wudu You would have the niyyah for wudu to either lift an impurity or for salah, which is wajib, and that there are six compulsory acts in wudu. جزاكم خيرا وصلى الله وسلم على رب العالمين.